Mr. By-Ends had formerly been acquainted with all three of them, for in their younger years they were friends in school, and had been taught by one Mr. Gripeman, a schoolmaster in Lovegain, which is a market town in the county of Coverting, in the north. This schoolmaster taught them the art of getting, either by violence, cheating, flattering, lying, or putting on a guise of religion. These four gentlemen had attained much of the art from their master, and had each become a master who could have run such a school themselves. Well, when they had greeted each other, Mr. Moneylove said to Mr. By-Ends, "Who are they up there on the road ahead of us?" For Christian and Hopeful were still within view. By-Ends said, "They are a couple of men from a distant country, who, to their way of thinking, are going on pilgrimage." Mr. Moneylove looked slightly confused. "That's unfortunate. Why didn't they stay so we might enjoy their good company? For I should hope we are all going on pilgrimage." "I agree," By-Ends said, "but the men walking ahead of us are so rigid, and they are in love with their own ideas. The result, they don't really value the opinions of others, even if a man is godly. If he doesn't jump in with them in all things, they quickly thrust him out of their company." Mr. Save-All said, "That is bad. But we read of some who are excessively righteous, and such men's rigidness obliges them to judge and condemn everyone except themselves. But tell me, what and how many were the things in which you differed?" "Why, they in all their headstrong manner believed it is their duty to rush ahead on their journey in all types of weather. I am in favor of waiting for wind and tide. They are for risking all for God in an instant, and I am for taking advantage of all I can to secure my life and property. They hold on to their beliefs, even though all other men oppose them. But I'm for religion that is tolerant of the times and not a threat to my safety. They are for religion when he dresses in rags and is considered contemptible. But I am for him when he walks in his silver slippers in the sunshine and with applause." Mr. Hold the World held up his hand. "Yes, but hold on a moment, my good Mr. By-Ends. For my part, I can only consider him a fool who has the freedom to keep what he has, but is so unwise as to lose it. Instead, let us be wise as serpents. It is best to make hay while the sun shines. You see how the bee lies dormant over the winter and stirs again only when it is profitable and pleasurable to do so. Sometimes God sends rain and sometimes sunshine. If some people are such fools as to go through the rain, let us be content to take fair weather as our portion. For my part, the religion I like best enjoys the security of God's good blessings poured out on us. When you think about it, it stands to reason that since God has given us the good things of this life, then he would want us to continue to enjoy them for his sake. Abraham and Solomon grew rich through religion, and Job says, that a good man shall store up gold as dust. If this is so, he couldn't be much like the men before us, if they are anything like you have described them. I think that we all agree in this matter, Mr. Sable said. Therefore, there is no more need to talk about it. Mr. Moneylove nodded. You're right. Nothing more needs to be said about this matter. For he who doesn't believe the scripture or reason, both of which we have on our side, will not appreciate his own liberty or care for his safety. My brother, By-ends said, as you see, we are all going on pilgrimage, and so to better distract ourselves from things that are bad. Let me ask you this question. Suppose a man who is a minister of religion or a tradesman or of some other profession learns about the prospect of a possible promotion. Let's say this promotion would offer him the good blessings of this life. Yet he can only gain this advantage by appearing extraordinarily zealous in certain points of religion, which he had previously neglected. Shouldn't he use this means to attain his end and still remain a righteous and honest man? I understand the point of your question, Mr. Moneylove said. With the permission of these fine gentlemen, he made a wide, sweeping gesture to include all the men around him. I will endeavor to give you an answer. First, let's look at the example of the minister himself. Suppose a pastor, a reputable man in charge of a small congregation that provides meager financial support, has his eye trained on a bigger, more prestigious, and far more materially wealthy opportunity. Let's say he learns he has a chance of getting this new position if he studies more and preaches more frequently and zealously. And because of the expectations of the people, he is required to adjust his stand regarding some of his principles. The way I see it is that there is no reason why a man should not pursue this course of action, provided he receives a call. Yes, and besides this, there are many more reasons he should seek this advancement in his career, provided he is an honest man. Here are some of the reasons. Number 1. His desire for a more prosperous congregation is lawful. This is beyond contradiction, for it is Providence that set this opportunity before him. So let him pursue it with all his might, without questioning his conscience. Number 2. Besides, his desire after that larger congregation causes him to be more studious, a more earnest preacher, etc., with the result that he becomes a better man. Yes, he is able to improve himself, and this is certainly according to God's will. Number 3. Now, as for his complying with the exception of his people, by deserting some of his principles in order to serve them, I argue this. First, it reveals he has a self-denying temperament. Secondly, it shows he has a sweet and winning demeanor. And thirdly, it proves he is more qualified for the ministerial office. Number 4. I conclude then that a pastor who exchanges a small congregation for a larger should not be judged for so doing as being covetous, but rather, since he is determined to improve himself and his trade in this way, he should be considered in the same way as anyone who pursues his call and who has an opportunity at hand to do good.